March 25th, 1983, 2:87 p.m. Backstage at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. Michael Jackson is lying on the floor, his right ankle swollen to twice its normal size. In exactly 5 hours, he'll perform the Moonwalk for the first time in front of 50 million viewers. His doctor is saying one word: impossible. But Michael Jackson has never accepted that word in his life. What happened in those 5 hours, and what he injected into his body to make history, remained a secret for 40 years, until now. But to understand why Michael was willing to risk everything, we need to go back 48 hours earlier. March 23rd, 4:15 p.m. A private rehearsal studio in Encino, California. Michael Jackson, the slim man in his mid-20s with distinctive high cheekbones, expressive dark brown eyes and a refined nose, is running through his Motown 25 performance. He's wearing simple rehearsal clothes, black pants, white socks, worn loafers, but the way he moves, you'd think he was already on the world's biggest stage. The pressure is crushing him. This isn't just another TV special. This is Motown's 25th anniversary. Berry Gordy, the legendary founder who discovered the Jackson 5, will be watching. Diana Ross will be there. Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye, every legend who ever mattered. And Michael has negotiated something unprecedented. After performing with his brothers, he'll have 5 solo minutes. 5 minutes to prove he's more than just 1/5 of the Jackson 5. 5 minutes to show the world that Michael Jackson, the solo artist, is the future of everything. But what nobody in that rehearsal studio knows is that Michael has a secret weapon, something he's been perfecting in private for 6 months. A dance move that looks physically impossible. A move where you glide backwards while appearing to walk forwards. Street dancers call it the backslide, but Michael Jackson is about to rename it the Moonwalk. He signals to the sound engineer, "One more time, Billie Jean," from the top. The iconic bass line fills the studio. Michael begins moving. Every gesture is precise, every step calculated. He's performed this song hundreds of times, but tonight's performance has to be perfect, because tonight he's unveiling the move that will change his life. He reaches the instrumental break. This is the moment he's been waiting for. Michael shifts his weight. His right foot slides back, then his left. He's gliding backwards. Smooth, effortless, magic. But then something happens that will change everything. Michael plants his right foot to spin, a move he's executed thousands of times. But today someone spilled water during the previous break. The floor is still slightly damp. Nobody noticed. Nobody thought to check. His foot slips, just a fraction of an inch, but it's enough. His ankle rolls. His full body weight crashes down at the wrong angle. And Michael hears a sound he'll never forget, a crack, like a branch snapping, sharp and sickening. Michael collapses. The music keeps playing. Billie Jean's bass line continues, completely oblivious to the disaster unfolding. His brothers rush over, faces white with shock. "Mike, are you okay?" Michael is clutching his ankle, teeth gritted. The pain is beyond anything he's ever experienced. Sharp, searing, radiating up his leg like liquid fire consuming everything in its path. Someone get a doctor, now. But here's what nobody realizes yet. The real crisis isn't the injury. The real crisis is what Michael is about to decide in the next 60 seconds. Within 20 minutes, Dr. Stephen Hofflin arrives. He's Michael's personal physician, a skilled plastic surgeon, but more importantly, someone Michael trusts completely. Dr. Hofflin kneels beside Michael, his experienced hands carefully probing the swollen ankle. "Michael, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the pain?" Michael looks at him with eyes glistening with unshed tears. His voice is barely a whisper. 15. They rush Michael to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. X-rays reveal the nightmare, a hairline fracture in the lateral malleolus. The bone on the outside of the ankle, not a complete break, but serious enough to end most performers' careers for months. In the sterile hospital room, Dr. Hofflin delivers the verdict. "Michael, you have a fracture. 6 to 8 weeks minimum for healing. You'll need a cast, crutches, complete rest, no weight bearing. Definitely no dancing. Michael stares at the white ceiling tiles. His voice is calm, too calm. What about Motown 25? Dr. Hoffman shakes his head slowly. Michael, that's in 2 days. There is absolutely no medical scenario where you can perform. If you put weight on this ankle, if you try to dance, you could turn a hairline fracture into a complete break. You could shatter bones. You might never dance again, ever. The room falls into heavy silence. His manager, Frank DeLeo, is there, already mentally calculating the PR nightmare of canceling. His mother, Catherine, is there, worried eyes studying her son's face. Everyone is waiting for Michael to accept the obvious reality. But something in Michael's expression makes them all nervous. They've seen that look before. That distant, determined look that means he's already made a decision, and nothing will change his mind. I'm performing, Michael says quietly. The room explodes. Michael, you can't. Michael, be reasonable. Michael, this is your entire career. But Michael's voice cuts through the chaos like a knife. I said I'm performing. Find a way. What nobody understands is why. Why is Michael willing to risk permanent injury for one performance? But Michael knows something they don't. This isn't just a performance. This is his one chance to prove he's more than Joseph Jackson's son, more than just another Motown product. This is his moment to become immortal, and he's not going to let a broken bone stop him. Dr. Hoffman sighs deeply. He's known Michael long enough to recognize that tone. Michael, if you're absolutely determined, and I cannot stress enough how strongly I advise against this, there are options, but they're dangerous, very dangerous. Tell me everything. Over the next 18 hours, Dr. Hoffman designs a plan that's medically reckless, but might, just might, make the impossible possible. First, a custom ankle brace, lightweight carbon fiber, molded specifically to Michael's injury. It will stabilize the fracture, but remain invisible under his costume. The catch? It will severely limit his ankle flexibility. Every move will have to be modified. Second, aggressive anti-inflammatory medication. Michael's ankle is currently twice its normal size, purple and hot to the touch. Without reducing the swelling, he won't even be able to wear shoes. Third, and most controversial, complete pain elimination. Dr. Hoffman is brutally honest about this part. Michael, the pain will be unbearable. The only way you perform is if we numb everything. That means injections, powerful local anesthetics, injected directly around the fracture site. You won't feel anything. No pain, no discomfort, nothing. Michael nods. That sounds perfect. But Dr. Hoffman isn't finished. His face is grave. But Michael, you need to understand something critical. Just because you can't feel pain doesn't mean you're not causing catastrophic damage. Every step you take could be making the fracture worse. Every jump, every spin, your body's warning system will be completely shut down. If something goes terribly wrong, you won't know until it's far too late. You could permanently destroy your ankle and not realize it until after you take your final bow. The implications hang in the air. Michael could walk off that stage and never walk normally again. Could end his dancing career at 24 years old. Could sacrifice everything for 5 minutes of performance. Do it, Michael says without hesitation. But what Michael doesn't tell anyone is what's running through his mind. A memory from childhood. He's 7 years old, practicing in the small Gary, Indiana house. His father Joe standing over him, belt in hand. Pain is temporary, his father had said. Perfection is forever. Again. Young Michael had danced until his feet bled, and he'd learned the lesson that would define his life. Suffering doesn't matter. Only the performance matters. March 25th, 1983, the day that will change music history forever. Michael wakes at 6 a.m. at the Havenhurst estate. He hasn't slept more than 2 hours. The pain medication wore off around 4 a.m., and the throbbing woke him. He lies in bed staring at the ceiling, and for the first time feels genuine fear. What if he can't do it? What if the injury is too severe? What if he fails in front of 50 million people? But then he remembers the moonwalk, that glide, that impossible, gravity-defying moment he's been perfecting for months, and he knows there's no turning back. At 10 a.m., Michael arrives at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. He's wearing dark sunglasses and a fedora pulled low, but people who know him can see the truth. His face is pale, almost gray. His movements are careful, guarded. The pain is constant now, a relentless drumbeat pulsing with every heartbeat. Dr. Hoffman meets him in his dressing room with his medical bag. Let's assess the damage. Michael removes his shoe and sock. The ankle looks worse than yesterday. The swelling has decreased slightly thanks to medication, but the bruising has spread. Purple and yellow discoloration creeps up his shin like a grotesque watercolor painting. Dr. Hoffman fits the custom brace. It's surprisingly light, but rigid. Once it's secured and Michael's sock and shoe are back on, it's completely invisible. But when Michael tries to flex his foot, he can barely move it. How does it feel? Like wearing a prison. I can't move properly. That's intentional, Michael. The brace keeps your fracture stable. You'll have to completely modify your choreography. No jumping on that foot, no rapid spins, nothing that requires quick ankle flexion. Michael nods grimly. The moonwalk doesn't need rapid ankle movement. It's all about the knees and hips. He can make this work. The hours crawl by with agonizing slowness. Michael sits in his dressing room, trying to conserve energy. His brothers visit, faces tight with worry. Mike, it's not too late, Jermaine says softly. We can tell them you're sick. Nobody will blame you. But Michael shakes his head. I'm fine. Jermaine knows he's not fine. None of them understand why Michael is being so stubborn, so willing to risk everything for one performance. But they don't understand what's at stake. This isn't about entertaining people. This is about transcending. This is about becoming something more than human. At 2:47 p.m., the moment we opened with, Michael is lying on the dressing room floor, unable to sit or stand. The pain has become too much. The medication is worn off. Every position is agony. Dr. Hoffman finds him there and kneels beside him. Michael, it's decision time. The show starts in 5 hours. If we're doing the injections, we do them now. The anesthetic needs time to reach full effect. Michael looks up from the floor. His voice is hoarse. Do it. What happens next is something only 5 people ever witnessed. Dr. Hoffman prepares 4 syringes of bupivacaine mixed with epinephrine. It's an anesthetic, so powerful, it's normally reserved for major surgical procedures. The epinephrine will constrict blood vessels and make the numbing last longer. This will hurt, Dr. Hoffman warns. The injection itself, before the numbing begins, will be excruciating. Are you ready? Michael doesn't answer, just nods once. Dr. Hoffman injects at 4 strategic points around the ankle. Michael's entire body goes rigid with each injection. His hands grip the examination table until his knuckles turn bone white. A sound escapes his throat, something between a gasp and a growl. But he doesn't scream, doesn't ask him to stop, just endures. After the 4th injection, Dr. Hoffman carefully wraps the ankle and helps Michael back into his brace. Now we wait, 20 minutes for complete numbness. Michael lies still, breathing steadily, waiting, and slowly, miraculously, impossibly, the pain begins to fade. Not just reduce, vanish, like someone flipped a switch in his nervous system. After 18 minutes, Michael can't feel his ankle at all. It's like that part of his body simply doesn't exist anymore. He stands carefully, puts full weight on the right foot. Nothing, no pain, no sensation. He takes a step, then another. It's like walking on a cloud or walking on the moon. Dr. Hoffman watches with concerned eyes. Michael, remember what I told you. No pain doesn't mean no injury. You still have a fractured bone. Every step is still dangerous. You have about 4 hours of complete numbness, maybe 5 if we're lucky. After that, the pain returns, and it will return much worse because you'll have been dancing on a broken ankle. Michael nods. 4 hours is more than enough. The performance is 10 minutes total, 5 with the Jackson 5, 5 solo. That's all he needs. But what Michael doesn't say out loud is the thought running through his mind. What if 4 hours isn't enough? What if the numbness wears off mid-performance? What if he collapses on stage in front of 50 million people? He pushes the thoughts away. Fear is just another kind of pain, and pain is temporary. The afternoon blurs into preparation. Hair, makeup, the iconic costume, black sequin jacket that catches light like 1,000 tiny stars, black pants with perfect tailoring, white socks, black loafers, and the single white glove that will become his signature. At 6:30 p.m., the Motown 25 taping begins. The audience is legendary. Diana Ross sits in the third row, Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye, Berry Gordy himself, every seat filled with music royalty. At 7:45 p.m., it's time. Michael stands in the wings with his brothers. His heart is pounding so hard he can hear it in his ears. Not from the ankle, he still can't feel that, but from pure, undiluted terror and excitement. The announcer's voice booms. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jackson 5, they take the stage. The crowd goes absolutely insane, and the medley begins. I Want You Back. Michael moves carefully, conservatively, more upper body, less fancy footwork, staying on his left foot as much as possible. But the audience doesn't notice. They're too busy going wild. Then ABC. Michael feels more confident. The numbness is holding strong. He tries a small spin, lands it cleanly on his left foot. The brace is working. He's actually going to pull this off. After the medley ends, his brothers exit, but Michael stays on stage. The crowd quiets, confused. This wasn't on the program. What's happening? Michael takes the microphone. His voice is soft, almost shy. I have to say, those were the good old days. I love those songs. Those were magic moments with all my brothers, including Jermaine. But what I really like, he pauses for effect, are the new songs. The crowd erupts because they know what's coming, and then those opening notes begin. That bass line, Billie Jean. Michael starts moving, and something changes in the atmosphere. The conservative performer from the Jackson 5 medley disappears. This is Michael Jackson unleashed. Every movement is sharp, precise, perfect. The sequins on his jacket catch the spotlights, creating a constellation effect. The audience is completely mesmerized. This isn't the kid from the Jackson 5. This is something new, something revolutionary, something they've never seen before. He moves through the first verse with surgical precision. Every gesture tells the story. Every movement is art. His distinctive features, those expressive dark eyes and high cheekbones, catch the dramatic stage lighting perfectly. The chorus hits, Billie Jean is not my lover. Michael spins, grabs his crotch in that gesture that will shock and define a generation, throws his head back. The crowd loses their collective mind. And then comes the moment, the instrumental break. Everything Michael has worked for, everything he's sacrificed, every hour of practice, every injury, every drop of blood, sweat, and tears, it all comes down to the next 30 seconds. Michael positions himself dead center stage. The lights shift dramatically. A single spotlight illuminates him. Everything else fades to black. The bass line continues, hypnotic and relentless. Michael begins to move backwards, but his feet appear to be walking forward. He's gliding, floating, defying physics, defying nature, defying everything the audience thought was possible. The Moonwalk. 50 million people watching on television simultaneously lean forward. The audience in the auditorium gasps so loudly, it's picked up on the recording. Diana Ross's hand flies to her mouth. Smokey Robinson's eyes go wide. What did we just see? How is that possible? Did that actually just happen? Michael continues, smooth as water. He moonwalks backwards across the entire stage, then spins on his toes, freezes in an impossible pose, tips his fedora. The gesture is so casual, so effortless. It's like he's saying, this is easy for me. This is nothing. The performance lasts 4 minutes and 53 seconds. But in those 4 minutes and 53 seconds, Michael Jackson doesn't just perform. He transcends humanity. He becomes myth. He becomes legend. He becomes immortal. When the final note plays, and Michael strikes his final pose, the audience doesn't just applaud, they detonate. People are on their feet, screaming, crying. Diana Ross is jumping up and down like a teenager. Grown men have tears streaming down their faces. Even the jaded music industry veterans are shaken to their core. Michael takes his bow, waves to the crowd, and walks off stage. The performance is complete. The moonwalk is done. History has been made. But what happens next? Nobody expects. About 90 seconds after leaving the stage, as Michael is walking down the backstage corridor, the numbness starts wearing off. It doesn't fade gradually. It slams back like a freight train. The pain that floods into Michael's ankle is unlike anything in human experience. It's not just the original injury. It's that injury multiplied by everything he just did to it. Every spin, every step, every moment of the moonwalk, all of it coming due at once. Michael's knees buckle. He goes down hard, but even collapsing, he doesn't scream, doesn't cry out. His face just goes completely white. His body goes rigid. Dr. Hoffman is there in seconds. Hospital. Now. They carry Michael to a waiting car, rush him back to Cedars-Sinai. The new x-rays are devastating. The hairline fracture has extended significantly. It's not a complete break, but it's close, very close. Michael needs emergency surgery, pins to hold the bone together, months of recovery, and there's no guarantee he'll ever dance the same way again. But as Michael lies in the recovery room that night, heavily medicated but still in considerable pain, he watches the news coverage of Motown 25. Every channel is showing the moonwalk, over and over, in slow motion. From every angle, reporters are calling it the greatest dance move ever performed, the most important moment in entertainment history. Cultural critics are saying Michael Jackson just changed everything. And through the haze of pain medication, Michael smiles, because he knows what they don't know. He knows what that performance cost. His ankle. His ability to walk normally for 8 months. Potentially his entire dancing career. But he also knows it was worth every second of agony, because in that moment on stage, Michael Jackson didn't just perform a dance move, he became eternal. The recovery was brutal beyond imagination. Michael underwent surgery the next morning. 2 pins inserted to stabilize the fracture, 8 weeks in a cast, another month in a walking boot, 6 months of intensive physical therapy after that. The first time Michael tried to dance again, 4 months post-surgery, he broke down completely, not from physical pain, though there was plenty of that, but from pure terror. What if he couldn't do it anymore? What if the injury had stolen the only thing that made him special? But slowly, painfully, impossibly, Michael rebuilt himself. Daily physical therapy sessions, strengthening exercises, relearning balance, and eventually, miraculously, he danced again. Not just walked, danced, moonwalked, defied gravity exactly like before. By the time the Thriller music video released 8 months later, Michael's ankle was still weak, still recovering, but you would never know from watching him dance. He hit it perfectly, because that's what Michael Jackson did. He suffered in private so the world could see magic. The Motown 25 performance of Billie Jean changed everything. That single performance launched Michael from superstar to legend to myth. It defined the entire decade. It influenced every performer who came after. Everyone studied that performance. Everyone tried to recreate that magic, but what they couldn't recreate was the sacrifice. The fractured ankle, the injections, the risk of never dancing again, the courage it took to step onto that stage, knowing one wrong move could end everything. For 40 years, very few people knew the truth. Dr. Stephen Hoffman kept Michael's medical records sealed. Michael himself rarely discussed it. When asked about the moonwalk, he would smile mysteriously and say he learned it from street dancers, that he'd been practicing forever, that it just came naturally that night. But the truth was far more dramatic, far more painful, far more human. The truth was that Michael Jackson moonwalked into history on a broken ankle, numbed by injections powerful enough to use in major surgery, held together by a custom brace, risking permanent disability for art. And that's the real story of the moonwalk. Not just a dance move that looked impossible, but a dance move that was impossible. A reminder that what appears effortless is often the result of unbearable sacrifice. Proof that sometimes, to create magic, you have to be willing to destroy yourself. Michael Jackson showed us the impossible that night, but the real impossibility wasn't the moonwalk itself. It was the fact that he performed it at all, on a fractured ankle, through excruciating pain, risking everything. And maybe that's the most important lesson Michael Jackson ever taught us. That greatness isn't about talent. It's about sacrifice. It's about being willing to pay a price that no sane person would ever pay. It's about looking at the impossible and saying, "Watch me."